Oh my goodness, man. We're live. We're live. Okay. All right. I bet I'm scaring people. Welcome in to another live stream, man. This is a breaking news live stream. I wasn't sure what I was doing. I was freaking out a little bit. I was like, do I go live? Do I pre-record? What do we do? I decided to go live. Here's why. Real quick. I'm doing my preview for this game. So it's going to change a little bit. So I'm like, let's do that as a pre-recorded. After we're done here, I'll make that video. But let's go live. That way we do both. Okay. So the news is here. This is legit. Ian Rappaport, shout out to Charles. He actually sent this over to me. And when Charles sends me something, it's legit. All right. In the chat, sometimes it's not. But when he sends me something on X, I know it's legit. So I saw that and I was like, just making sure that this wasn't a fake post. It was real. Frank Ragnow is officially coming out of retirement. Run, don't walk. That's it. He's officially coming out of retirement to return to the Lions. Now, the Lions sent like a cryptic tweet, I would call it. I can actually show it on the screen. They put a picture out of Frank Ragnow just walking out of the tunnel like before a game. And it's like, okay, there's some there. It's because he's returning. So I'm actually going to show the picture on the screen, and then we'll talk about what the heck this means for the Lions. Because Frank Ragnow's not that old. He's like 30 years old. So it's not like we're getting a 40-year-old offensive lineman that's like, let me give it another shot. This guy's legit. And obviously, when he retired initially, he was retiring, you could say, at the peak of his powers. Like, he was coming off a season that was incredible. He constantly had to deal with the same injury over and over, his feet issues that he was dealing with. And my hope now, immediately seeing this, is that, like, coming off of this retirement where he's constantly listening to like three injuries all the time, is that he's in a pretty good spot health-wise. So this is the post that the Lions put out, if you missed it. And this was it. This is what the Lions posted. Bam. They put this picture out of Graham Glasgow coming out of the tunnel. And we're seeing that like, okay, that's kind of weird that they would post that. Not sure what's going on here. And then Ian Rappaport reposted this with the quote tweet, I think it's called, of "This is real. Frank Ragnow's coming out of retirement. 29. Yeah, he's a couple months away from 30. He's coming out of retirement. So let me see if I can get that postcode up, pulled up. That way I can see exactly what he said. Ian Rappaport says this. Oh, he just posted this. Lions offensive line just got a lot better as one of the game's greats will return. Center Frank Ragnow is returning. Sounds like he's in shape and ready to roll sooner rather than later. So that's breaking news. Happy Thanksgiving, #Lions. I love that. Well, what a Thanksgiving gift this was. Now, highly doubt that he plays Thursday or tomorrow. I highly doubt that he plays Thursday. I don't know how long it's going to take. I mean, you have 7 days. Well, you like 6 days between your next game because you're playing Thursday again. And then you get a legit break, right? Like, you have some real time between your game after that. So just based on the schedule, I mean, I don't think it would take long for him to be ready to go, like, if he's in shape in terms of picking up what the Lions need him to know. I mean, I don't think that's going to take long at all. But I guess on the conservative end, you would think within 2 games he'd be playing for the Lions. Like, that'd be the conservative side when you get that legitimate break where you have a little bit of time. On the fast end, I would think the Thursday after this game, I wouldn't think he's playing tomorrow. It would be Dallas. Like, that would be the high end. Just think he would be back. But there's also the thing of, we don't know how long they were in conversation with him. I would assume for a while. But I don't know, like, if this was something that was like, hey, spontaneous. Like, I would assume Brad Holmes has been in touch with him. And, maybe he gave him a call and was just like, hey, Frank, if you're interested, bro, like, we would take you. And Frank's like, yo, dude, look, I'm in shape. Or maybe this is something throughout the season. They were constantly in conversation. My belief, it's more of this, that they were constantly in conversation. He was constantly keeping the Lions updated and posted like, hey, man, I'm still working. I'm working. And then as he continued to get healthier, it was one of these things where eventually he was like, hey, guys, I'm good to come back. Like, that would be my guess. I mean, I'm sure we'll learn more about this. So, yeah, the Lions play tomorrow, and then they have the Thursday. But then after that, they have 10 days between their next game, which is at L.A. I would think conservatively that's the time he would be back. That would be my guess. Aggressively, maybe Dallas, but I don't think he'd play tomorrow. I don't think that would happen, which does stink because, dude, seeing this, like, bro, I'd want to see him today. So you're saying the injury report came out. Okay, I was waiting for that too. I want to react to that because I think that matters. That matters a lot. I mean, we have a big update here with Graham Glasgow that we're waiting for. And then we got to talk about Frank Ragnow and what he brings to this team. So, yeah, good look. Injury report did just drop. Let's start there. Let's transition to that, and then we'll flip back over to the Frank Ragnow discussion. So let's start here really quickly. See, this is big. Okay, so Graham Glasgow has officially been listed as out for this game. This has to have something to do with it. Like, it has to. And again, I still wouldn't believe that he'd play this game, but I'm not going to count it out. I don't know. I mean, there's literally nothing that tells me he can't play this game. It just doesn't seem realistic. But there's nothing that tells me, he would be out. There's no report saying that he can't go right away. I don't know. I would just assume that's not going to happen. But Graham Glasgow with a knee issue, if he's out for a shortened stint here, this is something that's potentially concerning as we go down the road too. So even if he doesn't play this weekend, it will be beneficial to have him back. Now for this weekend, say he can't go. We look at the other injury updates. No Pascal still here. No participation the last couple of days concerning Khalif, Brock Wright. That's a big one. We're a little bit thin at tight end. Maybe a lot more Jahmyr Gibbs. Maybe some 3-back looks potentially. Like we could get some of those going. Something to kind of keep it on. I think a lot of jumbo package, just like Green Bay does, a lot of jumbo package. Terrion, though, questionable. Davenport, questionable. I don't know. We could see, I think we might see Terrion go this on Thursday, the fact that we let go of Arthur Mollett. But also, let's step here, too, for a second. Arthur Mollett was let go by the Lions yesterday, and I think a lot of our assumptions were you're doing that to open space for a Terrion Arnold to get back. That could be true, but could it also have something to do with Frank? I mean, I'm just saying. Like, if there's a world in which this has something to do with Frank Ragnow getting back, let me put myself up here real quick, then it does seem more realistic that he could be back sooner than later. You know what I mean? Like, if these two things went together, it would make some sense. Taylor Decker, Miles Frazier, here's the hope here. Let's talk about this for a second. So Tate Ratledge questionable. Let's assume Tate plays. I would assume that's the case. Tristan Colon then could step to center. The Lions would likely put KO at left guard and just leave him there. But I still think there's a world in which, maybe Miles Frazier takes that position. I think it's definitely on the table. It's just we're not sure if he's ready or not. So if they say Miles is good to go, maybe something shakes up there at left guard this week. I would assume Tristan goes to center, and I would assume Ratledge is playing, and he's going to be available at right guard. And then the question is what happens at left guard, right? That's where we're at. Yeah, no, this is legit. Ian Rappaport put this out. Charles sent it to me. We know it's legit. This guy's available. He's back. Frank Ragnow is a Lion. Now, the other interesting element to this, and I'm not actually sure what this is going to look like, is the financial element. Let me close this. I got a lot of tabs open real quick. Let me close this. The other element is the financial element. I don't know how this is going to work for the Lions here, because I think that you pick up from where your contract was. I think now Lions obviously have money to do that, but it does kind of shake up what you're looking at rolling over, that kind of thing. And if we look at Frank Ragnow's contract, let me see. I'm assuming nobody's posted on it yet, but maybe there will be. If we look at Frank's contract when he retired, see if I can pull it up here. Let's go to Spot Track. They'll give me some numbers. So he retired 13 and a half annual. Yeah, but where was he at, though? Where was he at? That's what we're trying to figure out. 2025. It doesn't have 2025 listed. I'm going to be honest. I don't even know what his deal was at. I can't even see it. Like, what was his contract before he retired? I don't know what his number was. Maybe Over the Cap will have it, because they could be considering a dead money. Let me see if Over the Cap gives us any info here. No, they don't. Okay, Over the Cap just happens as a free agent. Anything dead money related here? Frank Ragnow? Yeah, so, okay, Over the Cap has Frank Ragnow with $4.9 million in dead cap this year, with a $4.9 million cap hit this year and 3.6 next year. That might not change. I think you go back to your original contract when you're coming out of retirement. Now, maybe it changes because of the time missed. So that time missed kind of gets cut from what you were actually supposed to get paid, because you're getting paid weekly. So maybe that just gets cut out from the contract. But I would assume that cap number, I mean, they're still paying it regardless. So regardless, there's that element of it. And maybe it's just less because of the time that he's coming back. So I'm not sure. Obviously, the Lions have money to afford him. They have plenty of cap space. It just could affect what it looks like going forward. But that moves us to the biggest part of all of this, which is, does he play tomorrow? I doubt it. If he doesn't play tomorrow, Colon will probably go to center, KO'd at left guard. Maybe Frazier's getting close to being ready to go, and then Tate Ratledge hopefully starting at right guard. And I'm still excited to hopefully see Miles Frazier at some point. I know Alex tagged me on something on X, and he was like, "Hey man, is he going to make his debut?" I'm like, "Don't get me hyped up about that now." Another report real quick from Adam Schefter. Oh, this is big. Frank Ragnow's first chance to play for the Lions will come next Thursday against the Cowboys, though it is considered unlikely for now per source. A potential return date is December 14th at the LA Rams. Okay, so that's kind of what we were expecting. So Frank Ragnow not going to play tomorrow, could play Thursday against the Cowboys. He's in shape. Again, I don't think mentally it's going to take a long time for him to get up to speed there. Probably just about being back in game shape, hitting people, getting comfortable with doing that again, especially for where we are in the season. There's not a lot of opportunities to actually find that without kind of getting thrown into it. Are they going to throw him into fire? So no, they're not going to throw him into fire based on this report by Adam Schefter. Earliest is Cowboys, likely is the Rams is the first time that he would be back to play. So we're looking at that 10-day opening as most likely when the Lions would say, let's speed up this process, try to get him out there. But no, he's not going to play tomorrow. Based on that report, there's no shot that he plays tomorrow. So we are where we are with the offensive line tomorrow. But this does matter, of course, long term. And that's what this move means, which is awesome. I'm so happy Frank is back real quick, just because from a side note, Frank Ragnow was perfect for the Lions. And it was sad to see him go because it kind of felt out of nowhere a little bit. It felt like the Lions were kind of prepared, but it also kind of felt as a fan out of nowhere because he wasn't retiring like where it's like, oh, Frank looked really bad this season. Frank came off a good year, had a couple of rough games. I mean, Indianapolis was rough. They had a really good interior. They got after us a bit. Here's a stat for you. Last season, in total, Frank Ragnow allowed 20 pressures on the year. Now, he was graded as the 11th best center in football in terms of pass protection by PFF, but that's if you take into account centers that played 50% or more of the snaps last season. 11th best in football, 20 pressures on the season, but 14 of those pressures were against 3 opponents. 3 opponents created those. That was Tampa Bay, which was really bad week 2 early in the season. Obviously, Vita Vea gave us problems. Indianapolis, and also Buffalo towards the end of the season, where Buffalo didn't have a great interior, but that game we threw the ball a ridiculous amount. So over those 3 games, about 75% of his pressures were accumulated. All right, so he's very consistent in that side. But where he really changes the dynamic for us is run blocking. If you're looking at a great perspective, he was great as the second best run blocker at center in football last season. Also, another report here for Frank Ragnow. Let's read this. Adam Schefter says, today was the deadline for Lions 4-time All-Pro center, which is crazy. 4-time All-Pro center, or Pro Bowl center, Pro Bowl center Frank Ragnow to come out of retirement per sources. Okay, I didn't know that was a thing. If a player is on a club's reserve retired list, he must be reinstated prior to the club's Week 13 game. Detroit plays Thursday. Deadline was today. Okay, so that actually clears up a lot of probably how this went down. My assumption would then be that he was in constant contact with the Lions, right? There was constant contact there. He had let the Lions know he was staying in shape. And by the time it got to this deadline, Lions probably checked in with him. And Frank Ragnow was, you know what? Like, I'm feeling good. Hopefully this is the case. I'm feeling good, right? I had this very extended period of time off, so I'm feeling healthy at this point. I'm in shape. Let's do it. You know, I'm willing to take that. Let's step back into it. Let's give it a shot here. And look, for Frank Ragnow's perspective, I know Frank wants that ring. I got to believe Frank wants that ring, baby. He's like, dude, give me another shot to get that ring here. Unfinished business, at least from a fan's perspective. That's what it feels like. There was unfinished business last year that we need to go handle. We need to go settle this unfinished business. So that's the initial report we're getting here about Frank Ragnow. Again, not going to play tomorrow. Earliest sounds like Dallas, most likely the Rams, 2 games from now when we get a 10-day stretch break. And today was the last day that they could make this decision for Frank Ragnow to bring him off of the retired list for the Lions. But again, the impact that he's going to make is going to be run blocking. Now, here's the positive. The Lions last week ran block, to me, a lot better. I would actually argue what the Lions did run blocking last week was maybe the best performance of the season based on expectation, right? We saw the Giants said, hey, look, man, they give up some explosives, but they have a lot of talent. Dexter Lawrence, there's a lot of guys you got to deal with there. Pass protection, not the best, but run blocking, one of the most impressive. The Lions obviously lit them up. Gibbs was a huge part of that, but even David Montgomery's runs were not unsuccessful. Did he pop anything? No, but he had successful runs. The pin pull was a first down, like 7-yard run. He got downhill 3-4 yards a carry. That's what it felt like. He was successful. Gibbs went crazy, but a lot of those were big double teams, strong double teams, pushing guys out of the play. Getting Frank back now matters for Graham Glasgow's health because depending on how serious that is, it could really help the Lions. And maybe this is something that the Lions felt urgent about, like, hey, let's definitely give him a call because if Graham's injured, depth-wise, we don't have a ton there, right? Like, if they're also, and think about it from this perspective, if the Lions are considering giving Tristan Colon looks at left guard, if they were over KO'd, and now you find out Graham Glasgow's banged up, you don't really have a lot of ways to turn. So it makes sense to make that call and just figure it out if this is a possibility, because then you can open up the flexibility. And obviously this week it doesn't play into it at all, but it does make sense long-term here. So that's where he's going to change the game for us, is what he is as a run blocker. And I think last week was a huge step. Let's start here. Tate Ratledge, been a lot better. Tate Ratledge has been a lot better over the last few weeks. He's been on a hot streak. I think last week was a fantastic game for Tate. He's been big-time people mover for us. And over the last few weeks, he's been very consistent as a pass protector. He has settled the waters. He has been consistently good for the Lions over these past few weeks. So you start there first with Tate Ratledge settling in the right guard position. Right tackle, obviously, Penei Sewell's been amazing. And then at center, we've been a bit shaky, but I thought Graham Glasgow gave us a baseline. He was a baseline run blocker. Not great, but he was baseline. He was fine. He helped springboard some of the big runs, but he wasn't consistently a people mover. What I liked with Graham, and here's the difference. Here's what I would say is, to me, the biggest difference that I believe you're initially going to get. Let's say we get a Frank that's similar to last year. I don't want to put too much pressure on him and be like, yo, be the Frank, right? Like, let's give him time, right? Obviously, this is going to be a significant get back into it for him. But if he's anything close to what Frank was, the change between him and Graham is this. Athletically speaking, Graham can climb, he would connect with backers, and he would position himself well. Every big run that felt behind Graham was the fact that this guy would settle himself in really well. He'd position well, he'd seal off blocks, he'd go connect with a linebacker, and a run lane would pop. It wasn't him necessarily moving guys, but it was him being a guy that would connect and then allow a guard to push the guy out of the play, and then he'd get up and he'd climb and he'd get good positioning, and then he allowed us to springboard to run. But it wasn't him pushing people around. Frank, on the other hand, brings that element. Frank will push people around. Right? Frank will create movement at the point of attack. Frank will drive people out of the play. That's what he's going to do. He's going to drive people out of the play on his own. And that's the difference from what we've had with Graham Glasgow. Then also we look at the possibility of Graham Glasgow, when he is healthy, that he could open the door to go back to guard for us, just like he was last year for the Lions, potentially around playoff time, maybe, or whenever, Frank Ragnow is ready to go. You have that option too, if not saying, hey, Graham, we can push you back at guard to keep you in the lineup. And I would say this right now, while I think that Graham Glasgow fits better at center because athletically I thought he lost a step last year, and I think center helps him from that perspective, I will say that I do think there's a real case to be made that Graham Glasgow at guard settles the water more than what we have at left guard right now. But the best potential outcome here is, of course, Frank steps back in, looks like last year, next to Tate, who's been absolutely playing really well. And that's next to Penny Sewell, and that right side feels really strong. At left guard, now you have options. Miles Frazier, I think, best case scenario, Miles Frazier looks good. He's healthy. They put him in, and he plays well. And he gives you kind of that mahogany vibe of last year. And he steps in, plays well. Graham now becomes your swing back up into your offensive lineman. And in the meantime, you have Christian Mahogany working to get back to push whoever you have at guard when that is the case. Also, if we're talking craziness here, and I'm not going to say this, I don't think this would happen, but let's just talk craziness just for a second, consider, because why not? Today's crazy anyway. The fact that this is news is crazy. What if Frank Ragnow considered playing guard for us? I mean, look, I'm just going to throw it out there. Give me a second. Let's breathe on it. Let's take a sip, right? Let's take a second. What if there was a world in which he considered playing guard? I'm not, it's something to think about, right? Graham gets healthy. You're like, hey, man, what do we put you at left guard? I mean, why not? Maybe something to think about. I don't know. Probably not, but let's, Anyways, if Frank is remotely close to last year, this is massive. Absolutely. Frank has played at a high level. Frank has never been an elite pass protector game in and game out. You put him against some of the best, there's going to be some hit and miss. That's historically what it looks like. But there's also the possibility, too, that Frank Ragnow coming back from all of these injuries. I mean, he was listed with 3 injuries all the time. Like, let's do this, for example, right? Lions injury report, week 17, 2024. Let's see if we can do that. Let's just pull up a random injury report. Okay, 2024. There's a very good chance that Frank Ragnow is going to be on this. Let me see if I can find one. Scroll a little bit. Let me see if I can find one to give an example, because he was constantly listed with like 3 injuries. And if Frank Ragnow is healthier than what he was and what he had to go through last year, there's a possibility that he's better than last year. I mean, I'm just, throwing it out there. That's on the table too. He could be better than he was last year because he could be healthy, and this could be really good for him to kind of throw himself into the ring just like this. So that's what it's going to change for the Lions. You're going to get a people mover immediately, and your run blocking is going to improve. And the Lions have already been very good run blocking. And again, last week was, to me, the most impressive they have been so far this season. And now hopefully he settles the waters a bit more for us in terms of pass protection than what we've had to this point. And it does open up, hopefully, when Graham is healthy, more flexibility for Graham Glasgow, and really just on the interior in general to give us more They'll probably lean 6 offensive linemen, which, Dan Skipper's been able to do a little bit this year. 6 offensive linemen, maybe 3 backs get thrown into the mix a little bit more here. So probably not much. Why Skipper is not working out at center? He's big. Well, he's too big for center. I mean, honestly, he's probably just too big for center. Like that guy, when he's playing on the interiors, looked very shaky. Let's go to this real quick, though. right? As we kind of look and we keep waiting. I'm going to keep seeing if we get more reports on this, but messy snaps. So I'll give him that. Like, we haven't had that come up. We've had that in the past where it was like, dude, what are we doing? That hasn't been an issue. Happy Thanksgiving. I love that. Put Tesla in the tight end. Why not? I think we're going to see plenty of Tesla. I mean, look, it'll just be different packages, right? When you're limited at a tight end, you don't force the tight end. You just change your package. You say, okay, let's play more jumbo. We could play a jumbo 10 personnel. So we'll go three receivers. Tesla will get on the field, or Khalif, and we'll just play an extra offensive lineman. Or I think you just say, hey, man, we'll go, we can go three backs, right? Instead of going two backs, we go three back. We'll put we can put Gibbs in the slot like a receiver. We can put two backs in the backfield. I think you just change up your personnel. You'll probably see more four receivers in this game. I'm sure they'll use it because I think at its core, what's made the Lions offensive line so good has been that athletically they could do everything. There wasn't something that we weren't comfortable. They could go power, they could go gap, they could go zone, they could go wide, inside, they could do it all. Here's Frank Ragnow again. I mean, look at this, dude. Oh boy, we're back, baby. We're back, dude. This is firing me up. I'm just running plays of Frank. Look at him here. Look at him under the nose here, man. This is fantastic. I'm fired up for this now. All right, this is good stuff. Frank Ragnow's back. If you're just joining, Frank's coming out of return, but we'll play. The expectation is earliest Dallas, which would be a week if we didn't play Thursday, if he played the next Sunday. But because it's a shortened week, that's not going to happen. So Rams feels like the most likely return date. So again, it doesn't really help us right now, but down the road, Frank Ragnow is going to be back, and we'll just have to see what he looks like. But again, this is fantastic. Yeah, and then Graham can settle back into a backup role. If you need him, you could start him at guard. Obviously, having that experience is helpful. There are going to be options they're going to have. And hopefully Miles Frazier gets a look this weekend. That's something I'm hoping for, is that he gets a look this weekend. Maybe we get a chance to see that. We're seeing some of the range here from Frank. Connecting, the strain. Look at the looseness. Look at the flexibility just to go run. Move back, Graham back to right where he's comfortable. Allow Tate to learn left. It's an option. You could consider it. Maybe they will. I don't know how much they're going to want to move Tate. I mean, look, I wouldn't hate it. But I think Tate's been playing so well over the last few weeks that if they feel comfortable with doing it, now would be a time to do it. If not, if they're like, hey, we just want to leave him in a spot where he's playing good football, I'm also okay with that too, and I'd understand it because I think Tate's been playing really good football. It does still leave questions at left guard. Obviously, you could put Graham back there. You have that option, which we've seen before. Even though if he is more comfortable at right, you could still do it. But he's not healthy this weekend, so that's not a choice. KO at left guard, I think, is your most inconsistent piece right now. At some point, does Mahogany get back? Maybe. That's still on the table. And Miles Frazier, let's not forget, because Miles Frazier has been healthy for a while now. It seems like Miles is healthy. The only question is, do they feel like he's an upgrade of what they have? In practice, are they feeling like he's had to call Frank and get him out of retirement? Well, hey, he did it. And look, the reports were, again, if you're just joining, that today was the last day. So I got to believe there was a consistent conversation between those two sides. And I would hope that means that Frank Ragnow's in a good spot health-wise. That he's like, dude, I'm feeling good. Having all this extended time was actually the best thing in the world for me. And I feel good where it's maybe something that he has. I mean, if Frank felt the same way that he did constantly in years past, where he was like, I'm banged up all the time, I'm just fighting through things, I wouldn't think that he'd come on retirement. Maybe he still would because he just has that love for it and he wants to go get the job done because we left it out there last year. But makes me think that maybe and I hope this is the case, that he just feels better than he did last year, where he's healthier than he was last year. And this is something that is like, dude, I'm good to go now. Like, I'm comfortable playing now. I want to get back out there because I feel good. And a lot of these plays look great. Oh, I forgot that happened. Come on, man. But look at Frank, though. Look at Frank, though, handling his one-on-one. Okay, Graham, not so much on this play. But Frank Ragnow, though, this is getting me hype. This is getting me hype right here, bro. Come on, man. The hand placement. Dude, he's strong. Oh, this is firing me up, man. I got to be honest. We're just watching plays roll, and I'm getting pumped watching this stuff. I can't be the only one getting fired up watching this. Woo, man. Okay, we'll let a couple more play here, and then we'll kind of move forward. Oh, this one, Teddy B came in. And again, we got some movement. No, I don't think he's going to suit up tomorrow. I'll just take it based on the reports. Now, he may suit up and not play. Maybe there's that potential, right? But he probably won't be activated if he's not going to play. You know what I mean? Like, they probably wouldn't want to waste a spot on that just because they don't have some of the best depth right now with their offensive line. I mean, tomorrow's going to be intriguing. And it is something that is worth mentioning, is that tomorrow the Lions are going to have their hands full. Not having Graham Glasgow on a short notice is tough. And I think you're going to have to go Tristan Colon at center, and he's going to have to play well. You know, Rattler should continue his thing. Kayod's probably going to have to stick at left guard unless Miles can go. Like, that's a handful of Lions they're still going to have to deal with because, as you'll see in the preview I release later, like, the truth is We know what they have on edge. Our tackles should handle business for the most part. Micah's going to give us problems. He's Micah Parsons. That is what it is. But if you get beat up in the interior, you're going to have a problem against Green Bay because Carl Brooks, Colby Wooden, those guys have been pushed around, Devontae Wyatt, but they can get pressure. And if you allow them to beat you up on the interior, now you have a legitimate issue. It's one thing for you to get from the edge. You can expect that. You can give help. There's not a lot you can do with the inside just winning. Lions have to win there. So they're going to have their hands full this weekend just because they don't have that. They don't have the pieces. You know what I mean? Shout out to my man. Who is this with the 5-piece? Raw B1ZZ. Hey, Dose, this was this planned? Let him heal, create chaos until late in the season. Who could whip two young guards into shape while saving that roster spot? Was this planned? I don't know that it was planned like to be like, hey man, wait till week 13. We're gonna, but I think there was conversations. I gotta believe, and we'll find out more later. But I gotta believe that this was ongoing, that they were constantly talking to each other, that this probably didn't just come out of nowhere. It was like, hey, let's just call Frank and see what happens. Like I would assume there was constant conversations for it to happen on the last day that they're able to do it. I would assume that there was constant conversation. So I think that part of it was probably consistent. As for the two young guards, again, Tate's playing good football. Like, I got no issues with what Tate's doing right now. And I also appreciate you for the 5. Thank you, man. Let's get some birthday cakes in the chat, man. Show some love. But I think Tate's playing good ball right now. And the left guard is just going to be shaky until you figure out what it's going to be, whether that's Graham eventually settling that in, whether it's Miles taking over that role. KO's always going to have some up and down. It's kind of life with right now where you're at. Mahogany had up and downs when he was in there. Bro, look at Frank, though. Look at him moving people. Every play he's moving somebody. This is the difference, man. I'm telling you, if there's one thing that's going to change with Frank, is this. One-on-ones with you. I don't know how to respond to this one. But I'm glad Frank's back, and I appreciate the 5-piece. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what to say to that one. But I'm happy for Frank to be back. I'm sure they're all happy. And again, like, you're still going to have to be smart stylistically. But this is kind of what we talked about yesterday, right? When your strength as a team is your run blocking, which it is right now, and your strength isn't your pass protection, right? And there's not a lot of great offensive lines pass protection across the board, specifically when you have to live in that world. Then you have to be dominant on the ground game to allow that to be covered up. Like the best way you protect your offensive line then is you have to run the ball really well, and you have to create movement. And last week they did that. This week they're going to have to do it again. But with Frank back, even if there's still inconsistencies in pass pro, because there will be, he can move people. And that's what's fantastic about it. That's where he's going to change the numbers for us. Because now we can lean, say, hey, what if we put Frank at left guard and we keep Graham at center? I'm not thinking it's going to happen, but dude, flexibility should never be overlooked. You know what I mean? So Frank's first game will be back against Quinn Williams. Quinn Williams, the Cowboy. Yeah, probably. That's a good. Whew. Wait, no. Take that back. I'm sorry. You're right. Rams. First game back is likely to be Rams. So, I mean, that's still a heck of an interior. Colby Turner. Those dudes on the inside, like, you're still going to have your hands full there. Regardless, you're going to have your hands full. Graham Glasgow is not playing tomorrow. Yep, good look. He's not playing. We just got the injury report. I can go to that again real quick here. I'm just enjoying watching Frank light people up, dude. Like, I don't know. Okay, that one he lost a little bit. That one, like, it was good at first, and then he kind of let it go right here. But for the most part, I'm enjoying watching him play. Oh, that was a good ball too, dude. I don't remember that one. That was nice. Okay. Let's drop that for a second. Let's go to the practice report. Let's update this real quick once again. So if you're just joining, you can see what we're dealing with. So again, Graham Glasgow out, Kirby out. I don't know when Kirby's going to be back. It feels like he is going to be back at some point. No Josh Pascal. Davenport might be back. Khalif Raymond out. We know that, well, it feels now for sure that Arthur Mollett was let go to open the roster spot for Frank. That feels pretty straightforward. So I don't think it means that Terrion is officially back, but he could be. Brock Wright's out. We'll have to lean into what we have, the Ross Dwellys of the world. We'll have to lean into those guys. Probably won't play him a ton. Terrion questionable, though, so maybe we get our cornerbacks back and healthy, limited all week. I'd assume he's getting through concussion protocol. Again, Davenport full. I think he's probably going to be up. We should be good with Decker. We should be good with Tate. Maybe Frazier finally gets the nod. I don't think Frazier has anything to do with health. I think it's just that they haven't went to him yet. I think he's healthy. I just don't think they went to him yet. And then, yeah, I mean, that's really where we're at. So it's really just a Graham Glasgow one. That's the only one that's really surprising here. Maybe Josh, because it seemed like it was trending the right direction. Khalif, no. Have had a different returner. We'll probably have Lovett back there. It'll be something to watch for. We can't give them a free possession. So if anything, just play conservative. And you hate to do that in a game that could be a lot of field position, but let's just not give them anything easy. Can Tesla play tight end? I mean, I don't know if you look. Here's the thing. Here's how I'd say it. And this is something we had to deal with earlier this year. But I look at it like this: Tesla does have flexibility. I wouldn't consider him a tight end. Like, I wouldn't want him off the line of scrimmage a lot. Like, I wouldn't put him in line and be like, hey, go block somebody. But you don't always deal with Laporta either. But I think you can look at Isaac Tesla as he can give us value like a tight end would, just in a different way, right? Because if I put Tesla on the field, a lot of teams are going to treat him as a receiver, so they're going to play with an extra DB. If you put Laporte on the field, some teams play with an extra DB, other teams play with an extra linebacker. So your advantage is you can get a linebacker on Laporta. In this game, you're probably going to get the opposite, where it's always going to be a DB that gets on the field. Now, they're a little banged up at corner, so we'll see. But the advantage then there is him being a very good run blocker. You do have an advantage of letting him run block, right? Letting him run block against an extra defense be extra defensive back, lightening that defense a little bit. Maybe not as much of the advantage in the passing attack, but it does give you an advantage in some ways if you open your mind to it. I do think that's where I thought about that too. Like the first time we found out Laporta was her, I thought about Tesla because well, he can kind of do some of that, right? He's such a good blocker and he's got a lot of size that, he's not a tight end, but he does offer a value if you want to use him to that. And we just need to get him going in the pass game. And in the run game, he does offer a value. Campbell said Jackson Meeks can play tight end. Okay. Hey, look, man, let me see it. Let me see it. Needs reps on the line, though, dude. But can he play but at tight end? Yeah, I don't think you'll want to put him on the line of scrimmage too much. You don't want to put him off the line of scrimmage. You don't want him on D ends. You don't want stuff like that with him too much. But again, it's not like Laporta always line there either. I think you do lose something there. You just have to find your advantage in different ways. They'll be fine. Like my always thing is, don't try to replace a tight end with a receiver. Like in the sense of, don't ask Isaac Tesla to be Laporta. That's just not fair to him. You're going to give yourself a disadvantage. But allow Laporta to be his own advantage of what he's capable of, which is he's a very good run blocker for a team that's going to match him with the defensive back. That's the advantage he's going to offer you, so lean into that. Don't try to force Ross Dwelly to be Laporta this game. Allow us to lean more two backs. Use a lot more jumbo package, right? Like you use what you have to your advantage there. Did I see him run that little angle route? Hey, Skipper's a problem now. Don't play with Skipper in space. You know what I mean? Skipper, he's doing some stuff. You've been doing some stuff now. Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of Dan. And you're going to see a lot from Green Bay. Green Bay used a lot of jumbo. I know they got their other tackle going. Anthony Belton got going a little bit, even at guard this past week. So we're going to see that. It's a trend right now in the NFL to use 6 offensive linemen. It feels like everybody's doing it. So I don't expect that to change. Everybody's kind of doing it right now. Who's out for the Packers? All right, let's take a look, Chris. Let's take a look at the Packers injury report. We'll kind of leave it there. Report. It should be out, but they have a different time. Okay, no, theirs is already out. Okay. I know they're on they're like an hour ahead of us or something. So sometimes it changes when they actually drop stuff, but it looks like they're out here. Let's go to the Packers website. This makes it easier. Here's what we're looking at for the Packers. Nixon is the one to keep an eye on. Questionable for Thursday is Matthew Golden, Quay Walker, Keyshawn Nixon, Nate Hobbs. Green Bay has ruled out Van Ness. Carl Brooks, that's a big one. Carl Brooks is a big one, dude. He's one of their best interior pressure pieces. Okay, I'll say this. Without Graham, this is huge. Not having to deal with Carl Brooks is big. Right now, you'll still have Devontae Wyatt to deal with, and there's still Colby Wood, and you're still going to have guys to deal with. But that is a big one. Josh Jacobs did not receive a game status and will play. So, this team has been leading on Wilson and Chris Brooks, big fan of Chris Brooks and as their power back, and they bounced off some tackles now. We got to tackle well in space. One of the big keys to the game. Nixon suffered a stinger colliding with Devontae Wyatt. He was estimated did not practice on Monday before being upgraded limited following Tuesday's walkthrough. A lot of guys making progress, unfortunately. Talk about this. So we'll see on Nixon, a guy that could absolutely up till game time. That's gonna be a big one too. That's maybe not their top. I mean, it's probably their top corner opposite of Valentine. You could probably consider that. Kamal Haddon. Now, Haddon was playing a lot last week. He played a good amount when he had to step in. I thought Haddon did fine when he stepped in against Minnesota. I just don't think Minnesota could pass protect at all. Once they got into a spot where they couldn't pass protect, that thing went downhill so fast. That thing went downhill so fast for the Vikings, bro. Everything was backwards. It was like sack, punt. It was bad. It was really, they were not positive on first down. They kept going backwards. It got bad fast. Green Bay didn't issue a status for Bullard, so he'll play. Love will play. Cooper will play. Tom is a key for their run game. Romeo Doubs getting healthy at receiver. Watson, obviously, their key for the pass game, and Wicks does a little bit over the middle. And then they got who the Lions ruled out here. So that's what we're looking at for their side of things. I guess the big one is Carl Brooks. Outside of that, it seems like they're going to be fine. Nate Hobbs might even go too, so they should be pretty good at corner. We'll see. Nixon's the key. Nixon will be a key to this. No Jaden Reed. No Van Ness. I don't think those are massive for him. I don't think Van Ness is really a game changer for him anyway, but, that's kind of what we're looking at. All right. I appreciate you stopping in. We need to win at least one of the next 2 games. We should win the last 3. Need 11 to make playoffs. Take it one at a time, man. That's all I'm trying to do. And I'm not even looking ahead. Win your divisional games, right? Everything's in front of you. Win your divisional games. Give yourself a chance to win the division. You control your own destiny if you do that. Go win your division games. That's why I'm thinking about it, right? You can sweep the Bears, get the advantage on them. You can beat the Packers this weekend, get a half game up. Just win those games. And obviously the Vikings, you can't do anything with that, but they're losing anyways. So you're fine. You're fine. You're fine against those guys. Isn't left shoulder a bit junked up? I mean, he was full all week with left shoulder. Some of those were walkthroughs though, so I guess technically yes, but it was his left shoulder. And Jordan Love played some ball last week. I'll be honest, he played his tail off against Minnesota. I thought he played great football this last week. So I think over the last 2 weeks, Jordan Love's played high level football. He's going to be a problem. We need to stop Micah. Slow him down. Just slow him down. I'm going to give you problems. Micah's going to do his thing. Like, Micah's just that good. He gave Darisaw problems in that game, like a handful of times. So, like, I'm kind of just accepting the fact that he's going to give us problems. But you're right, Charles. And it's like, it has to almost happen more as an offensive plan rather than as a player, because you're going to have to deal with him and he's going to give you problems. If we win, is Frank allowed to get a turkey? Yes, absolutely. And we'll send it to him if we have to. You know what I mean? We'll send that thing over there, dude. But how about that, Chad? If you're just joining, Frank Ragnow's back. How crazy is it? This is still wild to me. The fact that we're here is nuts. I mean, I don't know how we got here, man. Like, I mean, we kind of do, right? Conversations, those things, getting healthy, already being under contract, so probably just jumping right back into that same contract. Unfinished business for Frank Ragnow. That's, I think, the vision here. An opening for the Lions, because why not? We can get better on the O-line, so let's do it. Missing it all. So I don't think there's any thing to point to and like expect like improvement. When do you think Frank got the call or made the call? Still can't believe it. My guess, I could be wrong. My guess is I would guess they haven't stopped having contact with him since he retired. I would think they've had conversation with him since he retired. Probably not every day or like every week, but I would assume they had conversation with him in the offseason. Obviously, when he decided to retire, maybe a little bit after that, like before the season started, kind of like, okay, keeping his open-mindedness. And I would think like maybe through midway of the season, right? There was probably a conversation at one point like, hey, man, I'm working, I'm feeling better. And probably right up to this deadline, like a couple days before, I would think the Lions probably gave him a call, or maybe he gave the call, right? And it was like, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling healthy. I want to give it a shot. Let's do it. And I know Brad Holmes not against that. Like, you want okay, you know what I mean? Like yeah, bro. I don't think that conversation ever ended, bro. They never cut that line. They were always in conversation. They were texting that man, dude. They were probably playing that game pigeon games with him. You know what I mean? Play a little 8-ball pool. Keep it, you know what I mean? Keep it fresh. Play a little 8-ball pool, you know? Play a little darts. Why? He's not going to play tomorrow. Well, essentially not going to play tomorrow. Maybe for Dallas, which would be the soonest, but because it's only 7 days, probably not. If he played Sunday, maybe. But then the Rams would be next, because between the Dallas and Rams game, after 2 games, he has a 10-day break. So Thursday to Sunday, they're going to seemingly try to get him back out there, and that's the most likely, which does make sense too, because that's what typically the plan would look like for a guy on like IR. It'd be like a 3-week ramp up kind of thing. So I think that's where they're at with Frank. The weird thing I wonder about is I don't think mentally it's going to take long. So I think there's a world in which it's faster. But the flip side is like getting used to hitting pads, that kind of thing. I don't know how much of that they're actually doing at this point. Maybe during that, break, when they get the 10 days off, they can get Frank really hitting guys again and kind of get back in game shape. I think that's where he probably has to get to the most here. He can be in shape, but he's not hitting people. Getting back to that level, probably just dialing back in, the dialogue with Goff and kind of just maybe updating anything that was new with some of the coaching staff change. Here's the thing. I would say Rams feels like the latest. That feels conservative. And I wouldn't say it's off the table that he's back for the Cowboys game. More about Frank Ragnow. Okay, so we'll leave that there. We'll see. I want to watch a couple more of these, and then we'll end this thing. I'm just enjoying this. I'm enjoying watching this. Taylor Decker has to be hyped. Absolutely, bro. Honestly, all those guys got to be hyped. I would think, Tate's got to be hyped to get to do it again. I think emotionally, like, it has to make you hyped too. Like, as a locker room, like, this would fire you up as a locker room. Like, hey, bro, our guy's back. One of the leaders of this team. One of the guys that's like, he's the Lion. Like, he is the Lion. He fits exactly what the Lions are about. Played through literally everything. Maybe the toughest Lion of all time, toughest one that I've ever seen, something like that. And he would just play through everything. This guy having the mentality of wanting to get back out there and get this thing done, bro. And the fact that they had constant conversations because he was so banged up. It's not like when he retired, it was like, dude, he's just going through too much. And obviously, for his future, you got to be smart. Dude's 29. He's hurt all the time. For him to be like, yo, I'm feeling good. Let's run it. Let's give it a shot here. Come on, man. Like, there's nothing else. Dude, it's crazy. Come on, man. Tate, I didn't even think about. I mean, bro, like these guys are pumped, and that whole locker room's got to be fired up. Like, dude, we're getting Tate. We're getting Frank back. It's amazing. Man, we need a prayer for tomorrow, though. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be tough, but I think we can match up well. I think we're going to get very aggressive against them. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring. I actually think we're going to play them pretty well. So I actually got to go do that. I got to go finish up my preview for this upcoming game. But as we're updating this news, before we get out of here, as always, and man, I appreciate y'all all stopping in. I do want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor of today's live stream, MyBookie. Use code DOSE, DOSE. It's in the top of the description when you sign up over here with MyBookie, man. Right now, they have an awesome offer right now, which is essentially a free bet. It feels like if you go to NFL and you go to NFL lock of the season, right now they are offering a Black Friday lock where it's plus 100. All you got to do is bet the plus 100 up to $25. You can essentially double your money up to $25. And if someone scores a point, you'll win. That's it. As long as it's not 0-0, your lock of the season is going to hit, right? So Thanksgiving football, Black Friday football, get back into the action. Don't miss out. MyBookie has an excellent opportunity for you right now with the lock of the season. One single touchdown is all it takes for Eagles Bears. I mean, we're going to be watching anyways, so you might as well not miss out. Take the advantage of that opportunity. Get $25. You know what I mean? Go take a Black Friday shopping after the game, something like that. Maybe before the game. Well, you can't do it before the game. You didn't win yet. Do something like that. One trip to the end zone, you double your money. It's the simplest bet you'll ever make. That's why I love MyBookie. So if you're watching the game with friends, get your friends involved, get them to sign up, get them to use code DOSE, get them to take a shot on this and see how it goes, man. So start with promo code DOSE when you sign up and grab a welcome bonus to get ahead. Load up and enjoy Thanksgiving football, enjoy Black Friday football with MyBookie, man. I appreciate y'all, man. This is a crazy live stream, but now I got to go work on this pre-recorded preview. So definitely come in and check out that if you're interested in what I think about the games. We'll give Head another big game. I think we're going to run the ball well. I think we're going to. Well, he'll have plenty of opportunities. I think we're going to run the ball well. And I think the Packers know that that's a little concern for him too. So we'll see how much they try to really halt that. But I think look, this is a team in Green Bay that plays a lot of single high coverage on first and second down. So they're going to do what they can, and their safety run support is probably their biggest key to it. So you need guys that are going to either, one, run through some arm tackles, or two, make guys miss. And that's where Gibbs shined last week. So as long as you got that, you're going to run the ball pretty well. I think we're going to run the ball pretty well in this game again. And, man, I can't believe Frank's coming back, dude. This is crazy. Like, honestly, this is better than any trade deadline move. Let's be honest. We talk about trading for an old lineman. Dude, hey, did they know during the trade deadline? Like, we are talking to Frank. It's on the board. We're talking to Frank. I don't know. Maybe. And maybe Miles Frazier does come back and help us. Potentially tomorrow. I hope he does. I think he's a starting level player. Do the Lions feel like that? I don't know. But we might find out. If everything stays the same, Cologne will likely go to center, Tate at right guard, and KO will hold down left guard. But there's a chance that Miles steps in at left guard. And we can get it done with that. But as we go forward, Frank Ragnow, a people mover? Woo-hoo-hoo, baby. We back, baby. Back, man. Who's in for Graham Glasgow? I think Cologne will be. And then they'll go Tristan Cologne. I mean, they got like Michael Neese, so there's a couple options there, but I think they'll go Cologne. I mean, you could also go to Nitain Mutai, put him at left guard. But yeah, dude, this is better than any trade deadline move, man. It's freaking Frank Ragnow, dude. It's only meant to be. Hey, this is meant to be now. He's back for the run. Unfinished business. Let's go finish that business. Who's going to play tight end? Come on, man. You don't know about Ross Dwelly? What? No, hey, look, I'm going to be honest with you. When we have a tight end out there, it'll be flats. It'll be blocking. It'll be about that. That'll be the receiving production. They may use that to their advantage, like a goal line. Like, oh, they're not throwing to this guy. And then we throw it to him. But you got Ross Dwelly. You got, who's the other dude off the practice squad? We have another guy on the practice squad. I can't think of who he is, but we'll use a lot of jumbo. We'll use a lot of two backs. We'll probably use two backs, three receivers. We'll just change our personnel. And that's okay. Again, you can do that. You should be able to do that. Good coaching staffs adjust to their personnel because injuries happen. And this is not a surprise at this point. Like, yeah, you lost Brock, but this is not a surprise. You don't have Laporta. You already knew you're going to have to be prepared for something like this. So I think they're going to be perfectly fine. It's not like Brock Wright brings like a big pass game upside to us. He blocks well, but that's it. Anthony Fursker, yes, good luck. Like, that's what he does. You can run those routes with these guys. You can run that route with Ross Dwelly. I don't doubt that at all. You can run a flat. You can run a delayed curl for 3 yards. Like, you can do that. You know what I mean? We're going to be all right. Even though this ain't my team, your enthusiasm and excitement is infectious. Man, I appreciate you, man. Now, hey, look, Chris, tomorrow, I'm going to be heated tomorrow. I ain't going to lie to you, all right? Tomorrow's not going to be a pretty day. Okay, but if we're playing well, it will be. So, I'm sure this didn't happen overnight. No doubt, no doubt. So Tesla getting some looks. He should get some looks. He's been playing a lot, and he can block for us. So it's a good. It's a good matchup for us in this game. I think so. Where's Shane? Isn't Shane hurt? I think Shane's hurt. I could be wrong on that. It's a good question. I think Shane's hurt. Let me ask AI real quick. Skipper has been holding back power. Level 9,000 tight end. Okay. Um, what happened to Shane Zylstra? Let's see what AI is talking about. Shane Zylstra, tight end. I think he's hurt. Lions placed him on IR in September. I don't know. I think he's still hurt. Yeah. I think he might still be hurt. Or he's just, I don't know. I think he's still on IR. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't remember what happened to him. So he went on IR when Tristan Colon got signed to the roster. So when Colon got back, he went on IR. Yeah. I don't know what happened to him. And then that's when Ross Dwelly joined the team. That's when Ross Dwelly joined as a big run blocker for the Lions. That's also back time we had Zach Horton. Now, is Zach Horton still in the practice squad? We're gonna be fine, bro. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. Yeah, I don't remember what the injury was. Packers Dallas gets 9-4. Bears lose to Philly and Green Bay. Lions will be back up. Dude, that's it, man. Look, we control this winter division games. You're gonna have business. You be good. You can be good. Win your division games. Watch Quintez Cephas try to get back with the Lions too. I like Quintez. You know what I mean? I got no hate for Quintez. Maybe Mutai. It might be time for Mutai. Might be time. I hope it's Miles' time. If we beat the Pack, we will beat the Cowboys. You might be right. You might be right on that. We got to beat the Pack though. Because honestly, if you beat the Packers, the Cowboys game doesn't feel like it means as much. I mean, I guess it does, but everybody's gonna be beating each other up here, man. Just win your divisional games, bro. Win your home games, I guess. I'll say it like this, buddy. You got to win your home games, right? Lions got 3 straight. We got to win them. Logan Stenberg. Okay. On that note, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here, bro. Like that's Jeff Okuda reunion. Yeah, we've went off the rails here. Okay. All right. Hawkinson can stay in Minnesota. Ebron come home. All right. Yeah. We struggling now. This went sideways very fast. Get Zeitler back. Okay. See, now that one I'm okay with, but we went sideways really fast there, Chad. What happened? Who started that? Who made this happen? We're talking about Meeks playing tight end, and all of a sudden everybody's just like, hey, let's go bring back that one guy that nobody liked when he was here. Come on, man. Jerry Jacobs. Now, we like Jerry. And we like Jerry now. Jerry can come back. Meeks playing tight end is going to be the craziest thing of all time. I don't even know what to do with that. I mean, Meeks is physical now. Playing Meeks at tight end would be like playing Madden and putting your receiver at tight end. Like knowing dang well, like that doesn't make any sense, but he's fast. So like anytime you put a linebacker on him, he's cooked. There's some creative stuff you should be able to do with that. And even if he won't be listed as a tight end because he's not a tight end, so on personnel charts he's still going to be considered a receiver. But even if you put him in line and put him off the tackle's hip and you had him run routes, you could do that. You could do that. He's still a receiver, but you can do it. You can definitely get creative with this. I mean, think about it. There's times where St. Brown releases from inside the tackle box. Right, he'll release through the tackle in the guard and he gets upfield. So we've done things like that. Colby Sorsdal, Stewart, dude plays everywhere. Now Stewart actually probably would make sense at tight end. Stewart actually would make some sense at tight end. That dude would catch the ball, he'd block. Jerry Jacobs at safety. I'm on board with that. Joseph, 3 touchdown a game, Fourier. Put Meeks at fullback. Colby Sorsdal. All right. Okay. All right, y'all. Look, man, I appreciate y'all joining. I got to go get to this Kelvin Johnson. Hey, Calvin. We're all ears, buddy. We would absolutely take you back. Calvin, we would absolutely take Calvin. Calvin don't even need to play. You can just stand there. I'd absolutely take him back. Put him on kick return. That'd be some fun. Now, hey, that's something we got to watch for this weekend, though. Punt return, kick return. Put Calvin back there for punt return. Oh, snap. I'd be on board with that. Just fair catch everything, but be a threat. People are going to be scared of that. Like, who is that back there? The guy's like 7 foot tall. Hey, bro, that's Calvin. Oh, snap. Don't punt it to him. See, they might just punt out of bounds on purpose. We don't put it to that guy. Barry still got some juice. All right, man. I got to go get this preview done, man. It'll be probably pre-recorded, but I got to get this done, man. I appreciate you joining. Frank, welcome back to Detroit, man. I can't believe it. We're here. We're here, buddy. We're here, man. Broderick Martin at left guard. All right. I'm gonna get out of here. I'll see y'all soon, man. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. And I'll see y'all on Thanksgiving, man. We're gonna react to the game. We'll have a post game, all that good stuff. We out. Frank Ragnow's home. Feels great.